A woman once asked her boss to leave the room so she could be alone with a computer program. The program didn't understand a single word she said. This is the story of ELIZA, the first chatbot, and why the guy who built it regretted almost immediately. Joseph Weizenbaum, a professor at MIT, built ELIZA in 1966, named after Eliza Doolittle from Pygmalion, the character thought to speak properly. Eliza's most famous script, Doctor, simulated a Rogerian psychotherapist, the kind of therapist who reflects your own words back at you as questions. But here is the twist. Eliza didn't understand anything. No knowledge, no reasoning, no memory of conversation. It just spotted keywords and ran them through template. You'd say, I'm feeling sad about my mother. And it will spit back, tell me more about your mother. That's it. That's the whole trick. But people didn't care. His own secretary, who'd watched him build the program for months, asked him to leave the room so she could talk to it privately. Users described feeling truly heard. This became known as the ELIZA effect, a tendency to project understanding onto a system that has none. Now, Weizenbaum was so disturbed by this that he spent the rest of his career warning people about trusting machines with things that require real judgment. The trick was pattern matching plus substitution. ELIZA scanned your sentence for keywords like mother, sad, always, matched them to a rule, and transformed your own sentence into a question. No understanding, no learning. Just clever string manipulation, dressed up as a conversation. Now let's go and build a tiny version of ELIZA ourselves using Python and Google Colab. Just open your browser, type Google Colab, and let's start building. You simply open your tab. We're going to start this simple build. You open your browser tab and then type into the search bar Google Colab, because we'll be using Google Colab for this particular simple build. You don't need any sophisticated software for this. I already have a Colab account. If you're new to Colab, it will just with a Gmail account is very simple. And then when you get to this interface, you probably won't see all this because I have more projects. You click on the new notebook here, and then you arrive at a new interface where we're going to enter our code right here. We just change this name to, instead of Untitled 20, we just change it to ELIZA, just to identify that particular notebook. So we're going to start writing our code. The first is we're going to be importing libraries, RE, import random. Random is going to help us generate random words that we'll need when ELIZA is responding. And then I'm going to paste the patterns here just to make our code, our build faster. These are the patterns that ELIZA is going to follow. So let's say you enter, I need this, that. ELIZA is going to respond with, why do you need blah, blah, blah? Would it really help you to get? So if I say I need water, it says, why would you need water? If I say I am tired, how long have you been tired? So basically it's going to replace the zero with whatever is here. The dot star, these are regular expressions which will be resolved using this particular library. Okay, so the next one is that if whatever I say doesn't fall within the patterns, there should be a default that ELIZA can fall to. So if anything, whatever I say doesn't fall under any of this particular array. So this is a tuple. In Python, this is what we call a tuple. Okay. If it doesn't fall within these patterns, we're saying default to say all of this. Please tell me more. Why do you say that? What does that suggest to you? So we're giving it rules and instructions such that it doesn't break. Okay. Then I'm going to paste this particular function here and then explain to you what the function is doing. This function is basically doing a pronoun swap. If ELIZA asks you, how long have you been tired? Then that swap, the one you said, I am tired, and it responds to how long have you been tired? It swaps the I with you. So this is I would say the group of words that we're giving ELIZA to have what to swap with. If I'm using a possessive pronoun, I'm using mine. it swaps it with your. Basically that. So we're giving it rules and instructions to go by in order to respond to us. The next one is the function that the response function. I'm going to run this so that we're sure that I'm not typing any, I'm not making any syntactic errors. Let me just run this and ensure that my code is intact. It's running the whatever we've written here to give us a response. Okay, with this green, it means that that's the green light. All our code is good so far. So this function, this is the swap, and this is the response. Basically, it says for pattern response in patterns, basically looping through this particular pattern list, or in JavaScript we say pattern array, and then it's going to match every pattern with when it strips the user's input. So whatever the user inputs is going to strip, ignore the case so that we don't have any case sensitivity of whether we're using capital letters or non-capital letters. In programming, we say upper cases or lower cases. All right. So now we enter the print. So this particular print here, we're simply printing ELIZA is saying, hello, how are you feeling today? It's like a greeting to the machine. It's just greeting you to say, like the way ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude would be like, hello, good morning, then mentions your name, stuff like that. Just a greeting. And then we're saying while true, that is while the user is still hasn't exited or hasn't done anything. We're saying if the user dot lower means that we're transferring everything the user types into lower cases. If whatever the user types contains the word quit, bye, exit, then the ELIZA should end the conversation and say goodbye. It was good talking to you. Break, and then ELIZA, there's the response. Okay. Else, if this doesn't happen, it should simply break out of this and continue responding to the user. So that's all the code, very straightforward and simple. So let's test it. So it says, how are you feeling today? I say, I am feeling tired. Remember this, I am feeling is going to come from here. So we expect ELIZA to respond with one of these. So I'm feeling tired. I click on enter. It says, how long have you been feeling tired? You realize it picked this one. How long have you been feeling? It replaced the tired I said with tired here. Nothing special. I would say 10 days ago. Remember, 10 days ago is not within our patterns. So when I click enter, look at what ELIZA is going to say. It says, why do you say that? Where does it get it? It gets it from the default. Why do you say that? So you can clearly see ELIZA is picking from the default and not from the pattern because nothing I said falls under the pattern. So it says, why do you say that? Then I'll go back to one of the patterns and let's see. I'll say, let's see, I'll go with, oh, my mother is tired. Okay, so I'm picking this. I'm going into mother. I'm going into this area. Let's see what is going to respond. It says, how do you feel about your mother? So when I said my mother is tired, it goes here to how do you feel about your mother? So that's basically what ELIZA is doing. Let's simply exit, or let's say bye. So when I say bye, now I'm picking one of these words. And ELIZA responds by, it was good talking to you. Very simple. Okay, so that's basically what ELIZA is all about. Very simple, straight to the point. And I repeat, this is the simplified form of ELIZA. Joseph Weizenbaum actually created a bit of a complex machine compared to this particular build. But I wanted you guys to see in simple terms what ELIZA was actually doing. From what we saw, ELIZA proves something powerful. People don't need real intelligence to feel understood. They just need the illusion of it. But illusions break down fast. Next weekend, we're going to look at what happened when engineers tried to fix ELIZA's biggest flaw by hard coding actual knowledge into machines. This is the evolution of language models. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. This is Top Tech Culture.